Jay-Z has built an empire, billion-dollar deals, private brunches, Grammys on tap. But behind that polished legacy, there's a shadow he's never been able to outrun. A man who didn't play the industry game. A man who didn't ask for permission. And now, that man is talking. 50 Cent has nothing to lose, and he's not just calling Jay-Z out, he's exposing everything. It all started before most people were even paying attention. Back in the late 90s, 50 Cent dropped a track called How to Rob, a gritty, sarcastic song that took shots at every major rapper of the time. And buried in those bars was a jab aimed directly at Jay-Z. Jay could have brushed it off. But instead, behind the scenes, something shifted. People who were there remembered Jay-Z warning his circle, flood the streets. Drop everything you've got. 50 Cent is coming. Because even then, Jay knew this wasn't just another hungry rapper. This was a storm he couldn't stop.
And, I remember one time walking in the studio, Bleak Beans, everybody was in there, and I was like, man, I'm telling you, man, y'all got a chance right now, just flood it, put out a lot of music, because 50 Cent is coming. And, 4 months later, in the club hit, and it was over. Right. It was just like, okay, now everybody got to sit on the sidelines and wait this tight to wave out.
There's a huge difference in energy internationally in 50 Cent and Jay-Z. In fact, his largest selling record sold 430-something thousand copies. My largest selling records sold 5 million. And let them be fooled in America and think there's a competition there. Because America can be purchased. You can buy it with marketing dollars. You see what I'm saying? But the rest of the world, there's not enough marketing dollars to go around.
That's why I made a statement about Taylor Swift.
I wish you would come take one of my awards so I could black his eye in front of everybody.
And Jay disagrees.
I want everyone to be clear. No one's scared of 50 Cent.
Does that bother you? Does it bother you?
No, it doesn't bother me. It's just his choice.
Why would you have to make that clear when no one's ever asked me if I'm afraid of Jay-Z?
The public is responding to his punk presentation. It's not 50 Cent. I don't have a problem with it. Kanye would not take a trophy from me. Neither Jay-Z.
Right.
Neither one of them.
What would you have?
No, we'd have had altercation right there.
If you've ever wondered how Jay-Z kept rising while others mysteriously stalled, the answer may lie in timing. Just ask Beanie Siegel, a former Rockefeller artist who watched every one of his albums get sabotaged by his own label. According to Beanie, every time he prepared a new release, Jay-Z would drop his album right on top of it. Not before, not after, right on the same date. One time is bad luck. Every time? That's sabotage. Jay-Z has positioned himself as a leader for Black excellence. But some say he spent just as much energy tearing down other Black artists who got too close to his throne. And 50 Cent? He never forgot it.
Like, oh shit. Like, I used to have questions like, why every time my album dropped, Jay would drop right on top of me. He wouldn't let me breathe or right before me. Like, I was always close, and always thought like, damn, if a kid, back then it was physical copies. So if you had $20, 20 bucks that you saved up and you was gonna buy an album, and it's under the same house, Rockefeller, between Jay and Beanie Siegel, 9 times out of 10 you won't buy the Jay-Z album. I never understood that every single album that I dropped, Jay dropped right on top. And it was like, damn, like that in-house competition at that magnitude was crazy. Jay already the boss, but I always thought that, like, let me breathe. But to maliciously plot to hold me back, I don't know, man. I don't believe that. I don't want to believe that. I mean, but like I said, Dame was no better than me.
The big homie Jay-Z, right? I said to my nephew, I said, yo, listen, I have to ask him this straight up. So I said, yo, why? Who is the people that's on NFL? And he said to me, and I'm sorry for anybody who don't understand. And he said, the white guy called for 50 Cent. So I said, who's the white guy? I'm digging this Jimmy Iovine. He said, no, Eminem called directly for 50. And he said,
that's his guy.
He said, I can't do it if I can't bring 50 up.
But that's his guy.
That was beautiful.
And guess who's Dre's guy?
Your guy.
Me.
Let's make him laugh.
By the early 2000s, 50 Cent was unstoppable. Get Rich or Die Tryin' wasn't just a hit, it was a takeover. While Jay-Z's best-selling album moved 430,000 copies, 50's debut moved 5 million. Jay-Z had the marketing. 50 had the streets, the story, and the fans. But Jay-Z didn't back off. Behind the scenes, he tried to push 50 out of key opportunities, especially the big one, the Super Bowl. When the 2022 halftime show came together, Jay was reportedly calling the shots. And 50? He wasn't on the list. But Eminem made one call and said, "Number 50, know me." That's how 50 got on the stage. Not because of the industry. In spite of it.
People Jay got to remember the people that made him. I'm not saying I don't got respect. I respect Jay-Z, 50, used to respect, Diddy, but all that crazy shit going on. But, I always respected him because I looked at, for New York, those were like the guys. You know what I'm saying? The guys with the most money and the most influence. So with Jay is like, when the last time you haven't seen Jay, so I think people are just gonna say that. You know what I'm saying? But for me, I mean, Jay, you gotta remember, he didn't want 50 at the Super Bowl. That was crazy.
Wait, Jay didn't want 50 at the Super
You didn't
Bowl?
know that? Yeah, he didn't want.
I remember Eminem pushed for it.
That was some hated. Yeah,
I remember Eminem was like, I'm not going to do it unless 50 does it. I heard that.
Yeah,
but I didn't know that Jay was trying to stop it.
I don't think Jay. I don't know. 50 never told me that, but I don't think Jay wanted them there. I don't know.
Because of what, some of the.
I mean,
the back and forth,
it's competition. You got to think. 50 always been competition for Jay. Remember, I'm about $1. What the 50 Cent?
That was a long time ago.
That was what, 9? What? Was
yeah,
that
but
9?
But after that, they did a song together. Remember the whole,
of course, but 50 was
thing?
always competition for. Then remember Jay said, "Yo, 50's coming." He told Siegel and them, and Memphis Bleak and all them.
Yeah.
And come on, 50's like he's on a whole nother level. You got to remember he came after Jay and Rockefeller. G Unit came, and people might G Unit, but with Eminem, Dr. Dre, 50 Cent, nobody has outsold us, bro.
Yeah.
Nobody has had the effect that we had.
2020, y'all. Yeah. And it's different than when it was 2016. The game has been elevated. As we can tell, there's no expense being spared. We had a Black Billionaires lunch. Yeah. You understand? Right. And we here together, and we're gonna keep staying together. We getting tighter. You know what I'm saying? And united we stand. And ain't nothing else to us. Black excellence, right here.
The new lawsuit coming with Jay, the part with Jay. I go, oh shoot, like
to us. Black excellence, right here.
That had to be there.
We getting tighter. You know what I'm saying? And united we stand. And ain't nothing else.
Black excellence, they're sitting there like, yeah. It's the billionaire brunch.
Oh, like, I hate you, man.
Unaware of anything going on here. This is the one time I'm gonna be with you this year. Come on, bro.
If there's one thing Jay-Z has always done well, it's strategy. So when rumors started swirling that his marriage to Beyoncé was more business than romance, 50 was the first to say it out loud. He signed a contract with Beyoncé. That's when the Grammys started rolling in. 50 said in an interview, "Before Beyoncé, Jay had 1 Grammy. After, he's sitting on over 20. Their kids have Grammys." Beyoncé got awards for albums Jay produced. Suddenly, Jay wasn't just a rapper. He was America's favorite family man, a businessman, untouchable. But 50 didn't buy the fairy tale. He saw the game being played in plain sight.
Look, when Jay signed his contract, the big one was with Beyonce. Mm-hmm. When he signed that contract, the marriage contract, he got trophies. Now those trophies, trophies came rolling in, buddy. He started getting Grammys left and right, man. I mean, look, listen. If you look at his career,
This guy. You're gonna let him say that?
Jay was getting Grammys.
he had one.
Exactly.
He had
And
one.
he ain't show up.
Yo, he had like 20 now.
Hold on.
He had like 18 since he been down. Look, he had one, bro. Hard Knock Life.
Hold on.
You're not wrong.
He was
At
one.
the same
Out
time,
there drinking his picture with thinks the cop.
Wait a minute. So you're saying the success is derived from the marriage?
I've absolutely been treated differently.
The accolades.
Because
from
he's
the
no
marriage.
longer viewed as what, like a street or gangster rapper. Now he's viewed as a businessman, entrepreneur, family man.
And the biggest ones because of the position Beyonce's.
Oh, wow.
Jay-Z's career, you can look at that and say the association to Beyonce is when he started to receive the 16, 17 Grammys since he's been with Beyonce. Right? And you go, prior to that, one.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So that came in association, like you see the kids even have Grammys. Like they don't sing yet. They don't sing.
Right.
They don't rap yet. And they already have Grammys and shit. So it's like they give them this trophy so we secure that they're coming to the award show. It meant that much to the culture that they just gave them.
Why are you so on top of the business side of Jay-Z? You know what I'm saying? Some people like to just be an artist.
Yeah, I was actually forced to be an artist and a businessman because when I tried to get a deal, I couldn't get a deal, so I had to create Rockefeller Records. We actually created Rockefeller Records from nothing. And, so I was forced to know both sides of the business.
And then there's Rihanna, signed by Jay-Z when she was just 16, flown alone to the US for a solo audition at 3 a.m. No parents, no management, just a young girl and a powerful man in a hotel room. Jay later bragged about locking the deal before she could leave the office. But critics like Jaguar Wright saw something much darker. She's been speaking out for years, calling out the industry's twisted silence. And now others are starting to listen. Because when you look at the timelines, the power plays, and the grooming patterns, it's not just questionable, it's disturbing. And yet, nobody says a word, except for 50.
Let's talk about Rihanna, the diva Rihanna. She's from Barbados?
Yeah,
okay. Okay, she's Bayesian. How did you come in contact with her? I mean, did you fly over there?
No, Jay Brown had actually bought me the song. She got a song right now that's I wouldn't say massive because of her roots, but she has this outrageous song called Upon the Replay. And he played that song for me, and I was scared. I was like, that song is too big for her. You know what I'm saying? Like, a new artist when a song is that big, it's it's hard to come back from. And I don't sign songs, I sign artists.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Why don't you break down the difference between that? Because the viewing public might not understand that.
Some people chase the hot song for a minute, and then they sign it, based on the song. I want to sign it based on an artist, based on, or based on the swagger, based on the level of talent, based on the writing, So I was a little reluctant when I first heard the song, and then, he kept going, Jay Brown, he kept being persistent. I was like, bring her by. And when she walked into our office, I was like, she just had, it was just something about her. It was just, she had this, it was just something about her. And then she performed the song, and I was like, okay. Then, we sat down and we talked, and they were talking about how she would stay in the studio and try to get the verse over, and then come back the next day. I was like, oh, work ethic, everything is there. So we signed it that night. We didn't let her leave the office.
Really?
The 3 a.m. was when that contract got signed. So from the meeting around 3, 4 in the afternoon, we signed it by 3 a.m.
Wow.
That day. I was absolutely certain.
But Jaguar has been warning us about Jay-Z. Jay-Z has now had an official lawsuit. It's everywhere. It's now being talked about louder than ever. I guess, does that give you some peace to know that people are finally really questioning this man?
It's emboldening me. I spoke on Piers Morgan. I said that I had 3 victims that I've been working with, victims of the Carters, that were ready to come forward. This might help them feel a little more confident now. So this is great because he's been evading. But the thing is, everyone in the backdrop knew that he was the celebrity John Doe. Everybody knew that. They knew it when I did Pierce Morgan.
Is Beyonce Celebrity B?
I hope to God not. But she was around. And she's very... She's got enough on her plate. After everything that happened with the election and everything that's happening right now, I'm not going to dump on that woman. She got better fish to fry.
Well,
what I will say is that her husband, she knows exactly who he is.
Yeah.
She knows. She knows.
Rihanna was tricked to Def Jam.
She was an innocent baby when she came over here. And look
She
at her
was
now.
14 going on 15 years old. Flown over without parental supervision in a private plane by a man who was supposed to be a producer who auditioned her at 3 a.m. in the morning in a hotel room. Auditioning at 3 a.m. in the morning, a 14-year-old girl. She was flown to another country. She was taken to Def Jam headquarters. She was left in a conference room alone with Sean Carter for nearly 6 hours alone with no parental supervision. Her father collected a $500,000 check. She has the fastest inked deal in Def Jam history.
Jay-Z's past isn't squeaky clean. Back in 1999, he was arrested for allegedly stabbing music executive Lance on Rivera at a nightclub. The charges eventually disappeared, but the story never did. Fast forward to today, and his name is surfacing in lawsuits that are shaking the industry. One civil suit, refiled in 2024, accuses both Jay-Z and Diddy of horrific actions involving a 13-year-old girl. Jay-Z publicly denied the allegations and even challenged the accuser's attorney. But 50 Cent saw something else: damage control, lawyers writing aggressive statements. A machine trying to protect itself. Because for Jay-Z, it's always been about image. Protect the brand, control the story, own the narrative. Until now.
A top rap star is busted.
Jay-Z turned himself in tonight, and the cops started working on his rap sheet, accusing him of a stabbing at a trendy party.
Kimberly Richardson is at Midtown South right now. Kimberly.
Well, Rosanna, just a few hours ago, police here at Midtown South arrested Sean Carter, better known as Jay-Z. The rap star voluntarily turned himself in here at the precinct earlier this evening. Now, Carter is being held here in connection with that stabbing fight that erupted at the Kit Kat Club last night. But just a few moments ago, Carter's attorney had this to say.
He's not involved in this, period.
He was at the club?
That's my only comment. He wasn't involved in this.
So it was someone else that did the stabbing and the hitting?
I didn't say that. I said he was not involved in it.
Now, Slovis goes on to say that at no time was Jay-Z hiding from the police, that they were in touch with cops all day and that they're trying to resolve this as gentlemen. But as Mike Sheehan shows us, others say they've seen the dark side of Jay-Z.
I have my faults. You know I'm not a perfect person.
While the rest of the industry stays silent, 50 Cent keeps pulling back the curtain. On Big Boy TV, he flat out mocked Jay-Z's style, calling him a gay painter and comparing his image to Basquiat. Nobody else would say that. Nobody else could. Because 50 isn't in the brunches. He isn't part of the Hollywood Handshake Club. He built his empire his own way, and now he doesn't owe anyone anything. When others see scandal, they duck for cover. 50? He leans in and starts laughing. And it's not just because he wants attention. It's because he's calling bullshit on an entire system built on secrets, silence, and status.
Because of Jay-Z and them was putting it together. So I think they still harbor some energy towards me.
You think you were purposely left out of the ad?
No.
Oh, okay.
I don't think. I think that they were saying the NFL had some issues with me that I don't know what those issues are. Like what is the issue? You see what I'm saying? Like, and I with M, because like with Nori he had communication. He said, yeah, I talked to the big homie. He said, told Jay, he was telling me, the white boy wouldn't do the truth without 50, right? And I'm like, that's when I start saying crazy stuff, because I start looking at go, oh, that's your big homie, right? And so he imaged himself after a gay painter. The big homie wanted to look like a gay painter.
What are we talking about here?
We're talking about Basquiat. He wants to look like a gay painter.
Oh my God, I think I know where we're going with
So
this.
now look, what I'm saying to you is, look, when you start looking at, that's not mine, that's theirs, they are, right? But when you look at, M is looking at the entire legacy.
Yeah.
The whole thing, like with M, Dre, and myself.
Jaguar Wright has been warning people for years. According to her, Jay-Z isn't just manipulative, he's dangerous. And the only reason he's lasted this long is because the industry protects him. Everyone knew Rihanna was signed alone at 16. Everyone knew about the hotel meeting. Everyone heard the rumors. But they looked away because Jay-Z was powerful. He was untouchable. Until someone with nothing to lose stepped forward and said what everyone else was afraid to whisper.
And I saw this headline. Kim found it for me. Let's watch this clip quickly.
Crazy
Let's
that you
watch
haven't
Tyra
seen
like pushing to get this out of Rihanna, and when it does, man, it made me feel very, very uncomfortable.
Audition. Yes. But before I met him, I was so nervous. I was shaking literally. But the moment I walked into the office, the atmosphere was so warm and welcoming.
And you had to sing a cappella for him?
Yes, I had to sing. I sang Fun to Replay. I sang another ballad from the album last time.
Yeah. So then what did he say to you? He said something to you.
Oh yes, he said, we don't sing songs here, we sing artists. And there was this little pause, and I was nervous. But then he said, and we're interested. And there was this sudden feel of relief.
But then he said something about a window and a door or something.
Oh, then he said, he did it one more.
I did a lot of homework on you, Miss Lady.
He said, there are two ways to leave here, either through the door with the deal signed or through this window, and we're on the 29th floor.
So you was like, where's the pen? Where's the paper? I'm signing.
Yeah.
The audience is so uncomfortable. Like, I don't know if Tyra was trying to get that on the record, but my God, what Jaguar? He threatened her. This is her own words coming out of her mouth, and she was a kid at that time, correct?
15-year-old girl who had been flown to the United States without parental supervision or a chaperone, brought to a grown man's office in a large corporate Manhattan building. Everybody knew when she flew in. I was there the day she got signed.
And
beautiful.
When I met her that day, I knew she was a star. Like, just her look, the way she walked into a room and her confidence, and she performed in my office.
And she was what, 17 years old at that point?
She was 16.
16, and she has the confidence of it. She's like an old soul in a sense, right?
Absolutely.
So she walks in your office, and what, she just belts out a tune?
Belts out a tune, she performs, and I tell her, there's no way out of this office. I signed her that day.
Wow.
Jay-Z might sit at billionaire brunches and pose as the mogul who uplifted a generation. But 50 Cent doesn't see a mentor, he sees a manipulator. He's watched Jay-Z build his empire by shutting down competition, buying silence, and leveraging relationships like chess pieces. And now, the pieces are falling out of place. Because the one thing Jay-Z couldn't silence was 50 Cent. So the question isn't why 50 keeps talking. It's what he knows that the rest of the industry refuses to say. And if that ever fully comes to light, Jay-Z's empire might start to crack.
There's an accusation about Jay-Z and Diddy and a teenager, 13-year-old.
Right.
And we were speaking about just the statement.
Right.
The statement, you were saying you felt like that was calculated.
That was, the statement is something from, you can tell it was written by a lawyer. Because there's a point where it kind of gets aggressive. He says, like, you're going to find out, like how I'll handle this. And that's an attorney want to be combative with another attorney. That's not like a publicist would say. It's like,
this is on your
put that up.
Yeah, this is on 50? Yeah, it says I don't know what's going on, but are we still gonna have the Super Bowl? I'm just asking for a friend.
Yeah, I'm asking for Kendrick. You know?
Right.
I'm just trying to figure out if we're still doing everything the way. Because look, they will fall back. Like the NFL, they won't necessarily be associated to that.
Right. Why do you not insert yourself, but you're on top of every topic, right?
Yeah. I'm just watching. I'm participating. I'm being part of the culture. I'm just telling my opinion.
Right.
Look,
because you're part of the culture.
Like I can't say anything now. I'm out of it. I'm like I'm going to Dre's studio and just sit with Dre.
Right.
And then maybe I stay out of trouble.
Nah.
If this shocked you, buckle up because the stories around Jay-Z, Beyoncé, Diddy, and the music elite go even deeper. What do you think 50 knows that we don't? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe. Because in this game, The truth always leaks eventually.